Are you set? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Minister and your team, I want to welcome you to the second day of this activity, actually third day of this activity going on. We have a program which is belief. I hope we have served you a copy over there. It won't take us long before we get through. So now, without wasting much more time, allow me to invite you to raise for the national anthems. Please take your seats. Honorable Minister, PS, and the team from the Ministry of Tourism. My name is Bashasha Willis. I am the Director Manifesto at the Presidency. On behalf of the Presidency that supervises the implementation of the manifesto, and specifically the monitoring done by this unit, take pleasure to welcome you and your team for this activity. I will not go back to the background because you are a member of Cabinet, and this was brought to your attention to Cabinet, and so you have the whole background. I will only emphasize that the Accountability Week, or the Manifesto Week, is about accountability and also popularization of our documents as far as the social contract is concerned. The tourism sector plays a very significant role in our economy, and specifically in the thematic area of wealth and job creation. And there are certain commitments that we made as government, of which I think the sector has been trying to see that these interventions are worked on and are implemented. So today it is an opportunity to tell Ugandans how far we have gone on this journey of the commitments that we made with specific reference to this sector. Honorable Minister, this is a media interactive session. It's not a baraza, it's not a rally. So we are only using technology as a medium to reach as many people as possible. However, at the end of your presentation, Honorable Minister, there is a Q&A session which will be preceded by our comments as the unit that does the monitoring And the Honorable Minister, I think it is important that I bring it to your attention that you will be at liberty to invite any of your team members, especially the technical teams, to support the responses that may be necessary in areas of concern. I now take this honor and pleasure, Honorable Minister, to welcome you and present to the country how far we have gone on the manifesto commitments that we made in the tourism sector. Honorable Minister, thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Director. Manifesto at the Presidency, members of the Manifesto Unit, directors, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, heads of agencies of the Ministry of Tourism, distinguished invited to this very important function, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Colonel Tom Butime, Member of Parliament, Mwenge County, Kienjojo District, Central, Chairman, fortunately, of the Historicals Members Forum of NRM, a member of the Central Executive Committee, therefore, but Minister of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities. And that's what brings us here, with the whole senior team of the Ministry of Tourism. So, Mr. Director, I want to thank you for organizing this NRM Manifesto Week 2024, which gives us an opportunity to present to the public on the progress that we have made in implementing the commitments that government made to Ugandans 2021. The NRM Manifesto 2021-2026 strongly recognized tourism and emphasized the increased attention that NRM government has paid to the role of tourism in the economic growth of this country. The manifesto assured Ugandans that tourism has proved to be an invaluable unifying force, bringing together people of different nationalities, religions, regions, professions for the tourism experience. It committed that the NRM government would continue with a commitment to expand the benefits from tourism to trickle down to the household level to consolidate the success in providing employment and diversified livelihood opportunities. Accordingly, a total of 16 commitments were made in the manifesto. As the implementing MDAs, we have endeavored to implement them. Government has provided a conducive environment for tourism to flourish. Uganda Airlines has been fully operationalized. There is total security in this country. Electricity is extended to tourism host communities. The Entebbe International Airport is upgraded. Kabalega International Airport established, 97% now. and tourism roads have been improved. And we have worked very closely with the Minister of Works, Minister of Finance, to make sure that these commitments are assisted to happen. And I want to thank the Minister of Works, I want to thank my colleague, the Minister of Finance, both colleagues, for the cooperation they have extended to the ministry. I want to thank the public and all other MDAs that the implementation of various commitments, as we shall present later. Action has been undertaken on all 16 commitments. 2 have been fully achieved, and significant in implementation of 11 commitments, and these are expected to be achieved within the. We have realized slow progress of 3. These have taken lead in implementation. They include Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, Uganda Tourism Board, Uganda Wildlife Authority, Uganda Hotel and Tourism Training Institute, Uganda Wildlife Research and Training Institute, and Kampala Capital City Authority. Missions abroad, local governments, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, Ministry of Internal Affairs, Uganda Police, Uganda People's Defense Forces, Ministry of Works and Transport, Ministry of Energy Development, Uganda Authority, Mr. Director, tourism to the economy of this country, and the government has targeted to leverage on it as a leading source of tenfold growth strategy for government. In addition, the NRM Manifesto commitments, the government targets to grow the economy tenfold by 2040. During this period, we have been asked to grow tourism foreign exchange earnings to the tune of US$ 50 billion. 50 billion US. In order to realize the contribution of tourism, our efforts are on increasing the average tourist expenditure, domestic tourism, as well as the length of stay. All resulting to increased employment, contribution product, and demand for our products such as agriculture. The domestic tourism trends are exciting, and tourism by Uganda is even at a higher scale than before COVID-19 pandemic. We have sites and facilities experiencing their best business volumes. In an effort to revenue sources, we have revenue by Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, Uganda Wildlife UTTI and UWRTI, 110 billion financial year 2017-2018 to 156.5 billion financial year 2023-2024, despite the setbacks of COVID-19, which to a low of 31 billion financial year 2021. Undoubtedly faced significant challenges, yet continues and evolves. When by climate change, the implementation of the manifesto commitment has only 19% of the required funding was realized for the past 3 years of implementation. The total of Uganda shillings 1,306 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2023-2024, but only 240 billion was released. Adequate funding is critical for full implementation. Now, Mr. Chairman, I will now ask the Permanent Secretary or his assistant or the one he will appoint to continue with the presentation. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Thank you, Mr. Director. We request now that Assistant Commissioner Planning and Finance at the Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, Mr. Mangali, continues the presentation of the Minister.
Thank you, Honourable. All observed. My name is Mangaliada, Assistant Commissioner, Finance and Planning, Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities. And I will continue the presentation of the Honourable Minister. Tourism, and also by tourism, which you have Minister. Then we also highlight the key performance indicators for this industry. Then to achieve specific manifesto key performance. Uganda's attractiveness as a preferred tourism destination. And to do this, we have 5 objectives that we are focusing on. Promote domestic and inbound tourism, to develop a pool of skilled personnel along the tourism value chain and ensure working conditions, to develop, conserve, and diversify tourism products, increase the stock and quality of tourism infrastructure, and finally to enhance regulation, coordination, and management of tourism. And to this, the tourism regions, and professionalism for tourism experience. The reward of tourism goes beyond revenue calculations. For example, of economic, tourism contributes to employment, both direct and indirect, contributes to foreign exchange earnings, contributes to government revenues, it contributes to development of infrastructure and communication. It is also a source of investment and innovation. It also facilitates the local population. In terms of social benefits, Honorable Chair, gender equality and inclusiveness is highly contributed to by tourism. It controls urban drift instead of people moving from rural areas to the urban centers. When tourism takes place in a place, those people in those areas. It promotes national values, and it also promotes social. We now look at the key performance indicators. As we have said earlier, tourism contributes to GDP, and we can look at, when we take the baseline of 2019-2020, we 6, and by 2023-2024, we are contributing 5.5 to the national GDP, but this is because of the COVID pandemic. We are trying to recover. In terms of annual foreign exchange earnings, we had a baseline of 1.6, but due to COVID, we are now trying to recover. We are now at 1.025 billion US dollars. In terms of foreign revenue per leisure tourist, $1,052, and now we are standing at $1,550 per leisure tourist. That means if a tourist comes in Uganda, that's the amount he spends on it. Then the number of international tourist arrivals from US, Europe, and China, these are the key source markets we are looking at. We are targeted to 212,603 tourists. Again, as I said, we are covering. We are currently at 67,252. Proportion of local tourists to national parks, the museum and the Entebbe Zoo. This one has increased from 28 in 2019-2020 to 84%. The Honorable Minister alluded to it, that most of our sites, some of them have more than doubled. The number of direct flight routes to Europe and Asia, in 2019-2020 we had 6. We are in 2023-2024 we have 7. In terms of average annual hotel occupancy rates, again, in 2019-2020, occupancy rates were at 51.9, and 2023-2024 was at 53.9%. In terms of tourism arrivals, these are the foreign visitors that we received. In 2019-2020, we stood at 1,542,620, and currently we are standing at 1,274,210. So we hope that by end of 2024 we shall have recovered from the COVID pandemic, which brought our numbers so low. Length of stay, in terms of overnights in all types of accommodation, again, this one, in 2019-2020, we were at 8.3, So we are recovering steadily. We are at 7.6. So a foreign tourist who comes to Uganda stays on average 8 days. In terms of proportion of leisure to total tourists, leisure tourists, these have high levels of spending, so we target them. So in 2019-2020, we had 19.3%. So we are currently at 15.7, which shows some level of recovery. Then in terms of accommodation capacity, that number of rooms that we have in the country, in 2019-2020, we had 191 rooms ready for accommodating our visitors. This has increased to 550 rooms. We continue in terms of contribution of tourism to total employment. In 2019-2020, we are contributing 5.8% of all the people employed. And currently we are at 5.7, so almost recovering. In terms of number, population of elephants, we monitor these ones. In 2019-2020, we had 5,739. We are currently having 7,975. In terms of population of lions, this one has a little bit 373 in 2019-2020 to 275 currently. Population of mountain gorillas, and this one we are only talking about only for Bwindi in Penetrable National Park. We have 459, but we also have mountain gorillas in Mugahinga, which is shared between Uganda, Rwanda, and DRC. In terms of evidence of human-wildlife conflicts, this one, incidences had increased, because in 2019-2020 we had 3,436 incidences, which have increased to 4,414 currently. Then we also look at number of visitors to museums and cultural sites. This one had increased from 424 in 2019-2020, the base year, to 131,508. Then the number of visitors to UWEC, this is the Entebbe Zoo, had grown from the baseline of 383,398 to 619,164. Number of visitors to our national parks, this one had also increased from the baseline of 323,861 to 387,914. In terms of level of compliance to tourism service standards, from this one had increased from 35 to 50.4%. That is in terms of our facilities, which comply to our standards that are set. Here we now go to look at the specific manifesto commitments. So we are going to, commitment number 1 was to provide support to the sector to fast track its recovery from the impacts of COVID-19, as well as adapt to resilience measures for the sector's growth and solidarity. And here I want to report that this has fully been achieved. as we enumerate here. One is that we undertook tourism promotional campaigns across the domestic and international markets, such as we have been having the Explore Uganda, the Pearl of Africa campaigns, Experience Uganda, Take on the Pearl, Tulambule, to promote the country's tourism offerings. Chair, we have also, government has consistently fulfilled its budget commitments to the sector amidst unprecedented economic disruptions caused by COVID-19 and its post effects. For example, the approved budget for tourism and its MDAs has significantly increased from Uganda shillings 193.7 billion in financial year 2019-2020 to Uganda shillings 248 billion in financial year 2023-2024, and finally to 297.8 billion in financial year 2024-2025. And also government through UDB has committed funds to support all SMEs to recover from COVID-19 effects. So, Chair, that commitment has been fully achieved. The second commitment was to implement a national tourism marketing strategy for domestic and international, as well as building a positive and competitive image by rolling out the Pearl of Africa brand in Africa and 12 overseas markets. Chair, this one is on track and to be achieved within the manifesto period. So in this we have done a number of things. Explore Uganda, the Pearl of Africa brand was launched and promoted in 6 regional and 5 international markets. This earned it global visibility, with CNN ranking Uganda as one of the 23 best destinations to explore in 2023, and 3 international tourism film awards at the International Tourism Film Festival, Africa Awards. Also, we have elevated Uganda's MICE. MICE means meetings, incentives, conferences, and events profile, maintaining its position among Africa's top 10 MICE destinations. For example, we're 6th in 2022 and 7th in 2023, so we are within the 10 MICE destinations on the globe. In Africa, not on the globe, in Africa. We have also branded key tourist touch points for improved visitor experience, such as Entebbe International Airport and Uganda Missions Abroad, specifically in Tanzania, France, and South Africa. Those embassies are branded. We have also established promotional partnerships with 4 airlines. That's with Uganda Airlines, KLM, Royal Dutch Airlines, Brussels Airlines, and Emirates Airlines. We have also strengthened capacity in destination promotion of 165 Ugandan mission staff in Spain, France, USA, United Kingdom, Germany, South Africa, Kenya, Rwanda, Japan, Russia, Tanzania, and UAE. Still under the same commitment, we have increased awareness of Uganda's tourism experience and services through annual promotional campaigns and regional tourism events, like the Explore Uganda campaigns, Explore Elgon, Explore North, Explore Bunyoro, Explore East, and Explore West. These are regional cultural events. We have also supported regional cultural events like the Karamoja event, the Imbaru, the Thread, Rwenzori, and so many others. We have also strengthened capacity of 377 regional tourists media editors and news managers from Eastern Uganda, Central and Kigezi region to counteract negative reporting and support curation of travel stories for improved destination image in the domestic and international source markets. We have also produced high-quality tourism content in partnership with the media, travel influencers, and tourism stakeholders, like the Hidden Uganda, a tourism promotional film. We have also done the Renzori, the Source of Life, which won the 2023 Gold Award at the New York Festival. We have also developed the Explore Uganda app for seamless access to tourism information about Uganda. Commitment number 3 is also on track, and it's among the 11 that the Honorable Minister intimated about that we are going to achieve within the manifesto period. And this one was to increase the stock and quality of tourism infrastructure by upgrading 1,000 kilometers of national tourism roads, development of the Hoima, this is the Kabarga International Airport, and the expansion of Entebbe International Airport, as well as domestic airports such as Arua, Gulu, and Kasese. Here we report a total of 6 tourism roads totaling 251.5 kilometers have been completed. These include Pakwach, Para, which is 45 kilometers, Bulisa, Para, 30 kilometers, Hoima, Biso, Masindi, Wanseko, 108 kilometers, then Rukungir, Kihihi, 58 kilometers, Kihihi, Kanyatorogo section, which lies along Kanungu, Kihihi, 9.2 kilometers, and Kihihi, Ishasha, 11 kilometers. On top of this, 11 tourism roads, totaling to about 511.3 kilometers at civil works stage, which with the civil works ongoing on 4 roads, and 7 roads have their civil works contracts signed. Works at Kabarga International Airport is at 97% complete, and we have witnessed the expansion of Entebbe Airport. We have also done Uganda Airlines. We have seen Uganda Airlines fully operationalized and now flies to over 10 destinations, including Lagos, that's Nigeria, Mumbai, that's India, Nairobi, Harare in Zimbabwe, Lusaka in Zambia, and Kinshasa in DRC, Mombasa, Dubai, Kilimanjaro, Zanzibar, Mogadishu, Bujumbura, and Dar es Salaam. So we have also seen government has prioritized development of 5 key aerodromes of Kasese, Arua, Gulu, Pakuba, and Kidepo due to their strategic location and significant importance to the sector. We have seen that in partnership with the UAE government, Kidepo Aerodrome has been prioritized for upgrading to a level of international airport at a cost of $60 million, with works expected to start this financial year 2024-2025. So as I said earlier, this is one of the 11 commitments that the minister said we are going to be achieved within this period. Commitment number 4 was construct and rehabilitate marine routes, including 20 piers on Lake Victoria. Here it is on track. Construction of the source of the Nile modern pier is underway, with construction of administration block completed. Besides a resettlement action plan, study and mapping exercise was conducted for Jinja and Bikwe. Social and economic baseline surveys have also been done. Funds have been provided for the pier at Uwek in Entebbe, and construction is expected to commence before the end of this term. Commitment number 5 was to enhance regulation, coordination, and management of the tourism sector to facilitate the development of accommodation and conference facilities of all types and sizes, as well as leisure attractions and facilities, including restaurants, bars, and cafes. Chair, as I said, this is on track. The Ministry is undertaking a review of the Tourism Act, that's 2008, and the process is expected to be finalized in this year. The Ministry has also started conditional grants to local governments in an effort to decentralize tourism, starting with this year, financial 2024-2025. A total of Uganda shillings 1.9 billion has been allocated to local governments for tourism activities, including quality assurance. Uganda Wildlife Authority is implementing several concessions signed with investment companies to develop accommodation facilities in various protected areas. Government of Uganda has supported and funded the expansion of Speak Resort Munyonyo Convention Center, a world-class conference facility of up to 1,500 seating capacity that hosted NRM and G77 China summits in January 2024. We have also enhanced access to registration and licensing services for tourism businesses through development of e-registration and licensing platforms. We have also fast-tracked registration, inspection, and licensing of tour and travel operators. A total of 1,509 tour and travel operators were registered, whereas 787 tour and travel operators were inspected and licensed in the process. Uganda Tourism Board has also embarked on grading and classification of accommodation facilities across the country, and a total of 37 hotels have so far been classified at different levels. Chair, this commitment is also among the 11 that will be achieved within this term. Commitment number 6 was to support the private sector to provide low-cost accommodation facilities in protected areas and tourism zones to increase the stock of tourist accommodation facilities by 15,000. So far, 12 concessions to private investors have been awarded by UWA in various protected areas such as Lake Mburo National Park, Amakshan Falls National Park, and Queen Elizabeth National Park to construct more accommodation facilities and manage the existing ones. Another 12 sites have been identified, and UWA is working with the Uganda Investment Authority to identify credible investors and shorten the procurement process. There are a number of tax waivers given government through URA on selected imported items for the tourism value chain. These include, among others, hotel development inputs like furnishing and machinery, tourist vehicles and boats. These are given a waiver to encourage the private investors to own them. Also, through the recapitalization of the Uganda Development Bank, tourism sector players have access to cheap credit for development. This also is on track and will be achieved within the manifesto period. Commitment number 7 is working with the private sector, support tourism enterprises to promote investment in the sector, inclusive of community participation, and attract 5 successful international brands in the tourism value chain. The Uganda Convention Bureau has strengthened destination capacity in MICE promotion and competitiveness that led to successful bidding or hosting of several events, including the 19th Summit of the Non-Aligned Movement, Heads of State and Government, and the Group 2007 and China in January, the African Blood Transfusion Conference, ABCC, in March 2024, the International Association for Impact Assessment in 2025, and we also 2027 the AFCON, and also the 11th Africa Regional Forum on Sustainable Development Goals in 2025. Uganda's investment opportunities have been showcased in international markets, including the Africa Hotel Investment Forum, which was held in Morocco. This one is also on track of being achieved. Commitment number 8 was to build a Mahatma Gandhi International Convention Center in Entebbe to boost the capacity of the country to host larger international conferences and events. Here, the ministry has secured 11 acres of land in Entebbe for construction of the proposed Mahatma Gandhi International Convention Center. But we have also seen that government gave priority to the expansion of the Speak Resort Millennium Convention Center. Commitment number 9 is to promote conservation of natural and cultural heritage through upgrading key wildlife reserves like Katonga, Pianiupe, and Semliki Conservation Natural and Semliki to conserve natural central forest reserves like Echuya, Budongo, Bugoma, Kalizu, Maramagambo, and create new national parks and wildlife reserves for tourism. Upgrade of key wildlife and central forest reserves, national parks or wildlife reserves. Status kick-started with stakeholder consultations yielding tangible results, including 1, 13 local governments or districts have passed council resolutions in support of upgrade or change of status for 19 protected areas. These include Katonga Wildlife Reserve to the National Park, Semliki Wildlife Reserve to National Park. This is in Toroko and Kabarore. Echuya Central Forest Reserve to National Park. This is the Rwanda District and Kisoro passed resolutions supporting the change. Then the Kangombe Central Forest National Park. We have resolutions already from Kagadi and Kibale districts. Then Bukaleba Central Forest to a wildlife reserve. We already have a council resolution from Mayuge district supporting the change. We have Sangobe Central Forest Reserve and wetlands to 1 wildlife reserve. This Chotara district has already given us a resolution, council resolution for that. Then Kasato Central Forest Reserve to wildlife reserve. Kagadi has already endorsed with the council resolution supporting the change of the name. Then Rengeye Central Forest Reserve to wildlife reserve. Again, Kagadi has supported this. Then Chamrangi Central Forest to wildlife reserve. Again, we have a resolution from Kagadi. This is the initial stage of changing the status of a protected area to another. So we start with the district councils. So we already have those resolutions from those councils. So we have also conducted phased consultations to upgrade the following: Budongo Central Forest Reserve to a national park and integrated into Maction Forest National Park. Bugoma Central Forest Reserve to a national park. Then South and North Maragambo Central Forest Reserve to a national park and integrated it into the Queen Elizabeth National Park. Then Karinzu Central Forest Reserve to a national park and integrated into Queen Elizabeth National Park. We have also carried out a regulatory impact assessment on this upgrade of protected areas was conducted, and a real report was produced, and a cabinet memo has been submitted for consideration by cabinet. So, Chair, this is also on track within the remaining period. The remaining processes will have been done. Commitment number 10 was to establish 10 valley dams in water space conservation areas, electric fencing of 500 kilometers of the identified parts of protected areas boundary to mitigate human-wildlife conflicts, as well as sustainable management and maintenance of 22 wildlife protected areas. Again here, Chair, a total of 7 dams have been constructed, one in Kawoya, 2 in Kidepo, and 2 in Lake Mburo, and 2 in Makshion Falls National Park, and they have been regularly maintained to enhance their water holding capacity. We have also continued to protect, manage, and sustain 22 protected areas, that is 10 national parks and 12 wildlife reserves across the country. These protected areas cover about 10% of Uganda's surface area. Out of the targeted 5,000 kilometers of electric fence, a total of 142.2 kilometers of electric fence have so far been constructed in different parts of protected area boundary. For example, for Queen Elizabeth National Park, we have so far done 7.2 kilometers of electric fence, and Makshion Falls National Park, we have already done 44 kilometers. And the rest are going to be done in the remaining period. So I believe by end of the term, we shall have hit the 500. Because we have a directive from His Excellency, and we should make sure those parks are protected. Commitment number 11 is to modernize UWEC, to undertake conservation awareness and education around protected areas, and increase UWEC's visits to 460 in financial 2024-2025 from 365,715 visitors in 2018-2019. Chair, I want to report that this commitment has been achieved. UWEC has been modernized with establishment of acquisition of 4 new animal species. We recently acquired the giant eagle, the owl, the deep-razor monkey, the tigers, and the redback. We have also golf charts. We have upgraded and the regreening of 5 animal exhibits. We have acquired an outreach track, rehabilitation of the wildlife quarantine center, and establishment of a kids mini zoo and play area. So when you go to work with the children, you don't worry that what will occupy them. If they are not interested in the animals, there is a kid play area. So a total number of visitors to UWEC has increased to 560. Remember, we are targeted 460, so this is beyond and above what we had targeted for this period. The government has also facilitated the transfer of Entebbe Botanical Gardens to the Uganda Wildlife Education Center, UWEC, a move expected to increase conservation education and awareness efforts in the country. Commitment number 12 was to have the regional UWEC satellite center to be established in all major tourism development areas, starting with the one in Mbale. Chair, I want to report that land totaling to 60 acres was secured from NFA in Mbale City for the establishment of the regional UWEC satellite center in Mbale, and government has commitment of 7 billion Uganda shillings to fast track development of the Mbale UWEC regional satellite was released in financial year 2023-2024. So establishment of the UWEC center in Mbale is ongoing. Chair, this is one of the areas where we see slow progress, because we talked of 4 regionals. So far, we are still on the first. So with the increased funding, we can achieve it, but it's among the three that the Honorable Minister hinted on, that which are on slow progress. Commitment number 13 was to conserve and develop Uganda's cultural heritage through expansion and modernization of the National Museum, establishment of 2 regional museums, and maintaining the integrity of 100 cultural heritage sites through boundary protection and land titling, as well as nomination of 3 sites to the UNESCO World Heritage List. Chair, this is on track. We have Mugaba Palace, formerly the Ankole King's Palace in Barara, has been renovated and completed. The Nyero Interpretation Center in Kumi has been completed. Designs and BHUs for Moroto have been completed, and construction is ongoing, at 50% completion. The Soroti Museum has been refurbished, certain facilities have been constructed, and restocking is in progress. Installation of the Kikorongo Equator Monument in Kasese district was completed, and the site was commissioned. Uganda's Napak Cultural Heritage Site was successfully presented and listed as one of the 100 geoparks in the world. The Museums and Monuments Act 2023 was assented to by His Excellency, and subsequently Schedule 2 of the statutory instruments number 69 under the Museums and Monuments Act, that is the Declaration of Protected Heritage Resources and Heritage Resources of Significant Value to Uganda, Regulation 2024 was gazetted, and the tombs of Buganda Kings, Royal Burial Grounds at Kasubi were restored and moved from the list of World Heritage Sites in danger by UNESCO. Chair, that is the Kikorongo Monument, which has been completed and is a key attraction in that area. Chair, commitment number 14 was to develop and enhance the capacity of labor force along the tourism value chain through undertaking on-job training for 20,000 workers, as well as apprenticeship for 1,000 Ugandans. Chair, this one is also on track. A total of 297 Ugandans have completed apprenticeship in hospitality fields, including chefs, housekeeping, food and beverage, front desk, among others. And we want to report that 100% of these graduated apprentices secured jobs. Additionally, 100 more young Ugandans have been recruited to undertake apprenticeship programs in tour and travel industry. In the years 2024 and 2025, a total of 1,103 Ugandans will be enrolled on various apprenticeship programs. This will be done through the Uganda Hotel Tourism Training Institute and the Uganda Hotel Owners Association in partnership with ENABEL and the International Labour Organization. Chair, commitment number 15. To upgrade and transform the Uganda Wildlife Research Training Institute, that is the UWRTI, and the Uganda Hotel and Tourism Training Institute, HTTI, in 2 centers of excellence for wildlife and tourism training and research. Chair, I want to report that this is on track through the World Bank project of SEDEP. UHTTI in Jinja acquired a state-of-the-art infrastructure. We have an 80-room, 3-star training application hotel. The Crested Crane has been constructed. Construction of administration blocks, 2 classroom blocks, and a girls' dormitory is ongoing, and is at an advanced stage, with completion expected by end of this financial year. Also through the World Bank project, the Uganda Wildlife Research and Training Institute in Kasese acquired a new campus. This comprises of administration offices, classrooms, and labs, and advanced learning and research. Also, education curriculums for the two institutions have been modernized and now being implemented. The Uganda Hotel Tourism and Training Institute and Uganda Wildlife Research and Training infrastructure have been institute structures, that is, the staffing structures have been restructured. Those are the two campuses I'm talking about. We have the Crested Crane Hotel and then the WRTI new campus, illustrated in those pictures. Chair commitment number 16, and the industry or program was, we were tasked to promote, improve, develop, and diversify tourist attraction sites and products, including the Equator Point at Kayabwe, education and health, road along the Equator, Kaguru Hill and Bishop James Huntington sites in Busoga sub-region, the Kitagata, Sempaya, Panyimur, Tibiro, and Rengimba, Amurpi, Ihimba, and Amur Hot Springs, Mount Elgon Tourism Circuit, the source of the Nile, Nyero Rocks, Eclipse Site, Fort Partico, the GMK Tourism Circuit, stopover recreation facilities every 100 kilometers, the ministry's profile Uganda's culinary tourism, the water-based or marine tourism, mountaineering, cable cars, and hiking facilities, St. Gonzaga, in Mbulamuti, in Kamuli, then St. Matthias Mulumba, Chevando in Kamuli. So these are the sites that were tasked to develop, and now this is the progress. This area is also on track. The Kaguru Hills tourism product has been modernized with concrete steps, rail guards, and chains. We have also a starting platform, 2 viewpoints, a monument, and a shelter structure to increase tourist competitive safety and accessibility. We have also done development of Tagata Hot Springs. This is specifically a Chomugabe site in Shama district into an eco-tourism site. Work is ongoing. We have also already done several structures, including a restaurant, a gym, a health club, an administration block. Washrooms have been completed. This is expected to be completed by end of financial year. Mount Elgon Tourism Infrastructure Development Project has completed its feasibility studies, so it is just awaiting implementation. Then 2 tourist camps have been developed at Rwenzori, at Nyabitaba and Elena, that is in Rwenzori National Park. The development includes accommodation for tourists, water supply, dining and kitchens, rescue facilities, as well as facilities for porters and guides. Construction of a 1.5 meter width of boardwalks has also been taken place. Rwenzori mountain hiking facilities have been established. We have talked about the 2 camps, Nyabitaba, and also 650 meters of climbing ladders have been done. We have also done a pre-feasibility study for a cable car. Was done. We are only waiting to do a full feasibility study to finalize this output. Also under this, The source of the Nile modern pier is under implementation. As we have said, a study and implementation was signed in 2023. The RAP study is ongoing, and mapping exercise has been conducted in Jinja and Buikwe. And also 7 acres of land has been secured, and a modern pier is being constructed at the source of the Nile. So those are some of the infrastructures we are talking about in the Rwenzori National Park. That's the Elena Camp. These are the kind of, when you look at the ladders, and then these are the boardwalks. We are talking about this at 4,600 kilometers above sea level. Chair, allow me to look at the key challenges. One of the key challenges is limited marketing and advertisement of the new brand, resulting in limited brand visibility and negative perception of the brand within the industry. Chair, the mitigation measures here, we have instructed the development of a national tourism marketing strategy to holistically address existing marketing obstacles. We have unforeseen natural calamities and health-related issues such as Ebola and floods, etc., which have resulted into severe consequences to this industry. Mitigation measures, government of Uganda, with support from development partners, are implementing robust plans such as the National Action Plan for Health Security, and have embraced risk-based approaches while planning and budgeting. Then poor infrastructure. Of course, we have done a number of road networks, but we still have challenges. So mitigation measure is that in 2012, a total of 65 roads were mapped as tourism roads, and so far over 22 roads have been since paved, and our international airport, which is over 97% complete. Inadequate and unskilled manpower personnel. The quality of personnel available to work in the tourism sector is generally low, resulting in poor service delivery, and also importing, in quotes, workers for this sector, especially at management level. The industry, the ongoing upgrade of Uganda Tourism Training Institute, Uganda Wildlife Education, Uganda Wildlife Research and Training Institute, Uganda Wildlife and Research Institute in Kasese, is seen to offer competitive. Persistent wildlife conservation challenges such as poaching, human-wildlife conflict, invasive species, climate change, and scarcity of water, especially in savanna parks. Mitigation measure is that the Uganda Wildlife Compensation Scheme regulations was gazetted, and also the Uganda Wildlife Revenue Sharing regulations was gazetted. Also, we have also intensified efforts to spread and coverage of invasives, clearing invasives from affected parks, protected areas. More 855 rangers have been recruited under UWA. We have also done 106.6 constructed. Another challenge is the unfavorable tax regimes. Chair, this one I alluded to it. Government has offered some waivers to this industry. The other challenge is over-reliance on wildlife, where we have wildlife as the key source of tourist attractions. So there's need for major investments in animated and artificial products for Uganda to best compete within the region, and also attract high tourist numbers and keep them within the destination longer. Mitigation: a case has been made to government of Uganda to increase investment in tourism to develop competitive products that can keep our visitors here longer. Then poor or lack of internet access, especially in protected areas. Here again, working with the Ministry of ICT, a number of areas have been accessed. So government of Uganda 3DB has provided private sector players with a relative cheaper alternative credit to complement their efforts to invest in the sector. Chair, as I conclude, the National Resistance Movement has achieved monumental landmarks on its social contracts with the people as stated in the NRM Manifesto 2021-2026. Action has been undertaken on all the 16 commitments under this ministry. The tourism industry has fully achieved 2 commitments. 11 commitments are being implemented with significant progress registered. These will be fully achieved by end of the term. And then the other 3 commitments have commenced, but with significant low progress. There is high likelihood of not being achieved. Chair, that is the Honorable Minister's presentation of the commitments. I thank you.
The presentation from the sector. Honorable Minister, we want to thank you for this elaborate and comprehensive presentation that touches very deeply on each and every commitment that is part of the contract that we made with the people. Now, Honorable Minister, allow me to make comments from the manifesto unit. First and foremost, I want the unit recognizes and wants to applaud the efforts so far invested in the different commitments, and we want to agree with your rating as far as the scoring is concerned. Honorable Minister, we are very much aware that this is a leisure industry and which was hit badly at the event of this political term by COVID, and many of you and the fellow countrymen who are following can bear witness that this industry was seriously severed by the presence of COVID in this country. So I want to thank all the efforts by this sector that have been put place in terms of recovery, and of course, plus the other enabling sectors like the Ministry of Finance, which has been able to provide some resources to make sure you are recovering. But most of the efforts are yours as you put in place mechanisms that make the sector recover. We want to take note significant progress in these areas and the area of contributing to the employment in this country. I think from the statistics that were displayed here, we are seeing how the sector has contributed almost tripling the baseline position by then. And this is one of the key challenges in this country. So we want to applaud those efforts. All Ugandans must be able to appreciate what the sector is doing in trying to support the minimization of this challenge of unemployment. Secondly, the contribution to the GDP is also significant. and it seems like there is all the hopes to increase your contribution to the GDP, and I think that's why you have been one of the sectors that has been identified in the artist program, which should be making this economy grow tenfold. We also witnessing increase in domestic tourism, so this means you have also put in strong efforts in trying to make citizens like their country. And of course, I will continue adding on your voice of appealing to Ugandans and those, especially Ugandans, because domestic tourism is where we are saying Ugandans should come and appreciate your country, come and visit. We should not be only looking at non-Ugandans or those we call the tourists who are from out of the country. We also want to appreciate the ministry's effort in trying to advocate for the waivers in the tax regimes, so that investment in this area, both by government and especially the private investment, is enabled. Yeah, however, whatever we wanted to observe, I think, was properly captured in your challenges, issues of low internet coverage, issues of branding, issues of poaching, and the human-animal conflicts. We are seeing efforts being made in that area to mitigate these challenges, and I think we can only say we look forward to making sure that probably all the necessary measures are put in place, so that by the time we conclude the term, Ugandans can still have the confidence in us, because we have been able to deliver on their expectations. So those are the observations from the unit. I now want to invite, if any, from the media, fraternity, and other members within the audience, and then we proceed from there. Yes, please, your name, your media house, and then the question or observation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Roger Pereira from East African Watch. Now in the house. I have two questions. But first, I want to thank the ministry and government for doing the work to promote peace in the country. We have had incidents of rape, but there is a problem. Mswahili anasema Mungu anajenga tena anabomoa. Because when you look at the arrival of international finance dollars,
just 6 inches from the mouth to the mouth.
Okay, thank you, Minister. When we look at the arrival of the tourists they drop from 200 to 60,000, it is worrying. Mombasa, small city, last year we hosted over 3 million tourists. So there is a problem with, as I said, Nigeria number one. They are saying, especially I've talked to operators, they say NRM government is obstructing or is killing tourism by example, introducing the reform legislations, human rights violations, even in this situation, today when we listen to BBC, they are talking about government of Uganda, the opposition leader. It's a very big issue. Those are small things which show you what requires. People are cancelled, they are coming to Uganda. That's one. Number two, it's a request from people from Nansiba district. They are saying they have been calling for Minister of Tourism to create another circuit from Southern Mount Elgon to the summit. In order for a long time, they are going to fight for this, so that that area can also develop. And I know what I mean by first circuit, where first come and start there, climbing the mountain. So I want to know, what are you doing about these two issues? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Next.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable and the Director. My name is Judy Ukenya. I work with the Eastern News Online. Mine is a concern, what I wanted to know, or I'm wondering what informed the ministry to name the conference that is being planned to be consolidated at Intelligent International Conference facility to be named Mahatma Gandhi. Yet you have great leaders here in Africa, even in Museveni, we have named Museveni and this instead of Mahatma Gandhi. What did Mahatma Gandhi do for Uganda and Africa at large? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, yes.
Is the election going to, in terms of past realizations of the are? And also, in your presentation, you said there has been an increase in human wildlife cases. Would like to know what are the major causes of this increase of these cases. To the Honorable Minister, I would like to be updated on how far we've gone in terms of preparing a cabinet paper regarding to Mountain Elgon Park Boundary District, because we've seen that lack of boundaries has resulted into endless human wildlife conflict in those areas. And lastly, can you have an update on the museum and the monument bill amendment? Because we last heard that President Museveni returned the bill for some of the provisions to be revised. I thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Honorable Minister, I think that marks the end of the observations. I now once again take pleasure to invite you to make the responses, and like I had observed, you are also at liberty to invite any of the technical teams that came with you to also support your responses. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable Minister, I think I'll beg you come here because the cameras, they need you here. Yes, Honorable Minister.
Where they are more to go to Mombasa and they are coming to Kampala. Did you take a note of that? Something with wildlife? You can see the other that? Yes.
Since they come, you can sit. You will order me.
About the bill The young lady asked about the Museums and Monuments Act 2023, that it had not been assented to. At the beginning, there was a clarification to be made between the Ministry of Tourism and the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. But that matter was clarified. The bill was sent back. It was assented to. It became a statute, it became a law. And even the regulations which declares heritage sites and resources, isn't it, have also been gazetted. So now we have a fully fledged Monuments and Museums Act 2023, plus all the regulations and heritage sites and resources, fully compiled, gazetted, so it's now a complete law. I hope the young lady is listening, or she has already lost interest. Have you got the answer? I don't know which other question I should answer, but I'll come back. So the PS is here, I can answer. Mount Elgon boundary, the wildlife will answer. Okay. So, Dr. Msinguzi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, the Director, Manifesto Implementation. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dr. James Msinguzi, and I'm the Director in charge of Community Conservation and Access to Wildlife Services at the Uganda Wildlife Authority. I'm here to represent the Executive Director. There are two questions regarding wildlife. One of them hinges on causes in human-wildlife conflicts in the country. Yes, it's true there has been an increase in human-wildlife conflicts in the country, mainly caused by increment in population. In about 1959, we were about to a few million Ugandans. Right now, we are over 40 million. So there is pressure for agricultural land, which has led to loss of habitat for the wildlife, and therefore, some of the wildlife has ended up being entangled in community land. But also what we need to know is that apart from the wildlife that is within the protected areas, about 60% of this wildlife is in private land. So as the Uganda Wildlife Authority, we are working very hard to protect the wildlife within the protected areas, but also put in place plans of how we can promote collaborative wildlife management with the community areas. We are promoting wildlife-based enterprises where the communities can earn money from the wildlife that is within their areas. We are also putting in place measures to reduce the human-wildlife conflict incidences by putting in place trenches which prevent animals from crossing from the parks to the private lands. We are putting in place stone walls. We are also encouraging communities to put in place or participate in beekeeping. The bees don't allow, for example, animals like the elephants to cross from the protected areas to the community lands. We are also promoting other measures like planting of Mauritius thorns that are able to stop the animals from crossing. We are also under the Wildlife Act, compensation for loss of life and property was approved, and now we are carrying out compensation. So far, out of about 2.1 billion shillings that has been approved for compensation by the Compensation Verification Committee, about 1.1 billion shillings has been paid out, and 1 billion is being processed for payment to communities. So yes, there is increment in human life conflict incidences because there is increment in the population, and this has caused settlements in some of the migratory corridors for the wildlife. For example, the elephants used to cross all the way up to Sudan, and right now, when they try to get to their roots, they are no longer anymore. You will find that there are some communities, for example, in Inwoya, in a place called Nyamukino, where about 19 elephants have actually left the protected area and have camped there. And so there are instances of conflict, but there are measures that are being in place to address these conflicts like I've elaborated. So this is a problem, but we are working very hard to promote community conservation, community collaborative wildlife management with the communities and the wildlife authority. Because even if you put in place these measures, the ultimate solution lies with us working collaboratively with the communities. We are carrying out community conservation education approaches. We are promoting a number of wildlife-based enterprises. We are also trying to see how we can improve the community livelihoods through the various interventions I've mentioned, beekeeping and others. So that's the status. Regarding the lions, yes, it's true, the lions have decreased, and this is mainly as a result of the pressure caused by increased population. There are mainly challenges of retaliatory killings by the community members. You could have heard about the killings that happened in Queen Elizabeth National Park of lions through poisoning. We have 11 fishing villages in Queen Elizabeth National Park. As you may know, Queen Elizabeth National Park is a managed biosphere reserve, so there are communities that are settled within there. So there has been a change in land use because there were predominantly fishing villages, but now they have gone into agriculture, including rearing cattle, rearing goats, and now there is competition between the lions and those goats. So the lions kill the goats, and so the communities get angry and they retaliate by killing the lions. We are working hard to address this through the compensation that has been put in place, compensating for these animals. And we are now at the stage of reviewing the regulations, the compensation regulations, so that we can reduce the time that is taken to do the verification and then the compensation. And we think that this should promote and improve the relationship between the people as well as the management of the wildlife in the country. So through compensation, through continuous conservation education, community engagement, improvement of livelihoods through the various interventions I've spoken about, we feel that there should be efforts to conserve more wildlife. But also, we have now put in place a directorate in charge of species management at the Uganda Wildlife Authority, which is going to ensure that we work on breeding and increasing the number of wildlife in the protected areas, specifically lions. The proposal is being developed to see how we can carry out in situ breeding within the protected areas to make sure that we increase the number of lions, because one of the aspirations of any tourist is to see the lions in their natural setting. So yes, there are problems, but we are working on them as the Uganda Wildlife Authority. Thank you.
Yes, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for giving us this opportunity to address some of the concerns that are coming out from the general public. I will address about 2-3 issues, and the first issue is to do with what really informed our decision to tag or to name the Mahatma Gandhi Convention Center in Entebbe. Ladies and gentlemen, you recall that in 2018, July, between 24th and 25th, Uganda, we hosted the Indian Prime Minister, Prime Minister Modi, and on his trip to Uganda, he made a few commitments, which included, one, the construction of a Mahatma Gandhi Recreation Center in Jinja, as well as the construction of the Convention Center in Entebbe. Now, all these were 100% grants to the government of Uganda. However, certainly we had processes that we had to undergo to ensure that things are done right. For instance, at the time we needed to identify the most suitable land in Entebbe that could house the convention center. Now that took us some time. You know, also the acquisition involves ensuring that the land that you've secured is properly registered in your names. So by the time we sieved through those processes, that's the time when COVID struck, and just like Uganda was hit by the virus, India as well was hit. Their economy was hit. So just after COVID, we received communication that because of the severe effects onto the Indian economy, government of India was pulling out from what they had already granted to Uganda. But then we're like, we've already secured the land, for instance, for the convention center. There was no reason whatsoever that could deter us from ensuring that we have a convention center. So as of now, the prospects are having the Mahatma Gandhi Convention Center, because that was earlier on the idea behind, you know, having the land in Entebbe. I hope this addresses the concern of the first of that question. Then there was something to do with I think if I got it right, why we are seeing more tourists visiting Mombasa than it is in Kampala. You know, in tourism we have the 5 S's. We call them the 5 S pull factors, and that is the sun, the sea, security, the sand, and the smile. Now, certainly, much as Uganda is a peaceful place, we are selling, I mean, Kampala is a peaceful place, and we are selling largely the nightlife, but much of the sand that we sell, or the sea, actually we only have the sand, which is in Entebbe. It's for that reason that when you go to Entebbe over the weekends, you'll find a mammoth of people flocking the various beaches in Entebbe. We don't have the sea. So quite a number of people are interested in sea activities, which sea we don't have. However, much as we don't have the sea, this kind of prompted us to also look into the direction of developing and prioritizing Sese Islands for tourism. And as we talk right now, we're already coming up with a master plan for Sese Islands to develop and promote tourism on all the islands that make Sese. So much as we don't have the sea, but at least we have the waters. We have more than 40% of Lake Victoria, and we do believe we can capitalize on that to improve on our marine tourism. Finally, I think there was something from a colleague from Namisi Indwa, and if I got you right, you were pretty much talking of how best we can maybe document some of the attractions in the districts so that we can have a complete tourism circuits. We all know it very well that certainly you cannot promote or you cannot develop what you don't know, isn't it? So we as the ministry, it is always, it's very important for us to document, not only documenting, but also profiling what we have in the country. We look at largely the tourism products that lie in the various districts. What kind of attractions are there? What kind of activities can someone engage in? How about the accommodation? We have a statistics unit that undertakes all this for us to know how many hotels do we have, how many beds can we offer, etc., etc. So we have much of this information, which actually informs our decision on what to do, because much as we are cognizant of the need to improve and develop much of the tourism products in the country, we need to first of all understand where these products are, how to get there, but also importantly, we need to ascertain whether developing them will carry economic and financial sense. That's why we always ensure that whatever product that we develop, we undertake feasibility studies so that there is, we are sure that indeed there is value for money than simply running to set up or develop products in the various parts of the country. I think that's pretty much from me. We had a question to do with the drop. Maybe my colleague will also come and address that from the planning unit. But I think the concern was why we are seeing a sharp drop from 212,000 international tourists to about 67,000. And certainly, if you look at that table critically, these are tourist arrivals from the US, Europe, and China. And by the way, why did we opt to use 2019-2020 figures? That is basically pre-COVID period where everything seemed rosy. But then when COVID struck, so many things turned upside down. But then we are showing that at some point, actually in 2020, we got almost, if you recall, the international airspace was completely closed. So there wasn't any form of activity, and tourism definitely was among those sectors that were hit. So we are showing that much as 2019 we had 212, statistics of 2023-2024 are promising, because it may not really get back to where we were, but we are basically getting there, which is a positive for us. And in fact, in some cases, like if you look at, say, statistics, numbers going to visiting our cultural places, the museums, the source of the Nile, and other tourist attractions, you'll find that we have already surpassed the numbers of the pre-COVID season. So this shouldn't worry you. We are definitely on the path to full recovery. And in fact, we've come up with so many initiatives that will certainly lead us to surpassing these numbers. Not just promoting the Uganda as a destination, but also we are vigorously developing our tourist products that will not only attract, but also retain those that will visit or that will show interest in visiting the country. I submit. Thank you so much.
put our hands together for Richard. Don't know where she is. Onono Okelo. Session tomorrow. Once again, we'll be here, and we have one also of our other key sectors, which is the Ministry of Works, Transport, and as usual, our beginning time will be 9:30. Once again, allow me on behalf of the presidency to thank you. First, the sector that was making its presentation. I hope Ugandans, wherever you are, you have been able to pick the facts as they are within this sector. And you, the media, please, as partners, try as much as possible, disseminate these facts to the last mile possible so that the Ugandans are able to appreciate what has been going on as far as government performance is concerned. You know, a lot has been done, but little is being talked about. And I think it also goes back to what somebody was raising about the way we also report certain things in media and their impact on the tourism. You know, so as patriots in that area, we also need to see how balanced we are so that we are able not to lose out on the bigger picture of where the government is going. I now wish to declare this session officially closed. Honorable Minister, we will invite you for a photo opportunity behind here with the team. I thank you. We'll see you tomorrow again. Oh, the anthems in reverse order. Thank you. Thank you. And as usual, please get in touch with our secretariat for those who want the